Hi, my name is Jody McNamer, and for the past 30 years, I've had the opportunity of working with many of the top real estate teams and agents in the nation, as well as many of the top loan originators. I'd like to talk just briefly about what I call the real estate supply chain. And this is actually how both agents and loan originators can work together to build a ever-increasing business. So let's think about your business in terms of this client journey. So the whole goal is to take someone who is interested in either buying or selling a home and actually completing that transaction with both of you, the agent and the loan originator, in the middle of that transaction. So how do you get that to happen? Well, first of all, from a client journey perspective, what they want to do is they want to find a house and ultimately fall in love with it and then figure out how to pay for it. Or what they want to do is they want to determine what their budget is, what they can afford, and then go out and find a home. And this is a very, very important distinction for both loan originators and for agents to understand, and why it's really important that an agent has a loan originator to partner with and that loan originators have agents to partner with. Why is that? It's because the clients that we find, our potential prospects, our leads, fall into one of those two categories, right? We call it, in terms of our coaching, M1s, which are people who want to get a mortgage first. They want to get pre-approved. They want to find out what they can afford so their hopes aren't dashed on something that they can't afford. And then there are the H1s, and the H1s are the ones that want to go find the home first and then figure out how to pay for it, right? They want to fall in love with that. Typically, you'll find those people being more emotional. You'll find the people that are the M1s a little bit more analytical in nature. So it's important that you start creating that distinction and be looking for that in your conversation, because as a real estate agent, if you're constantly pushing people who are M1s, you're not going to make the progress that you could by saying, hey, you know what, let's go ahead and get you into my loan originator. He'll be able to tell you exactly what you can afford, and then together we can decide where we might go from there. Whereas if you're a loan originator and you're just talking to someone about getting pre-qualified, well, they may not want to, and they may not have the motivation to do it because they haven't found what it is that they love. It's almost like financing a car, right? They go out and fall in love with a car, and then they're like, oh my goodness, I'm now going to go to the finance desk and figure out how to pay for this thing. People are, their mentality is a bit that way as well. So be thinking about the client journey. So the client journey is fall in love with the house or apply for a mortgage, find the house, get a contract, drive around, get a contract in place, and then ultimately close. But equally as important is the back-end supply chain. Now, the clients should see none of this at all except for some very simple interactions. But when you look at what needs to happen when a contract comes in, ultimately then there's all these steps that need to happen. And it's very, very important that both your loan originator and you as an agent come together to understand the different parts of the supply chain. What title companies are you using? Inspections, what type of appraisals, so that everyone understands what a typical transaction should look like. So what we hope is about 90% of the transactions going to be standard, meaning it's going to go as planned. And then there's another 10% of real estate that's just unexpected. We're going to have to deal with those variables. We call it non-standard. But to the extent that you can get your supply chain, your title companies, your appraisers, your loan process, approvals, paperwork, the ability to collect that paperwork, signatures, countersignatures, extensions, all of that, developing a process to do those things, then you really are geared for volume. Because remember, the baton handoff between mortgage originator, between title company, between appraisers, between inspectors, all of that baton handoff, there's a lot of places where that baton could be dropped, and that affects your client experience, and it also affects potentially people going out of contract and not interested in working with you anymore. And we surely don't want that. We want a very clean supply chain so that at the end of the experience, they're going to recommend every one of their friends and family to be able to work with you. So take the time up front to develop that supply chain. If you are a loan originator, you need to have the supply chain conversation with your agents. It's going to add a huge amount of value. And if you're an agent, you need to have a conversation with your potential customers to say, hey, you've worked hard to put this supply chain in place, and this is what makes you unique. It's your unique selling proposition. And if you do those things, you're going to find that you're going to be able to increase your business. Even in an economy that's both an up market and a down market, it really does insulate you because you are able to make that case. This is your unique selling proposition, why you, in fact, are a better real estate agent or a better loan officer than anyone else, and why they should actually work with you. So thanks for taking very much a couple of minutes to watch this video. There'll be other videos that are available as well. If you're interested in additional products or coaching, it's available on the site. But again, thank you for taking the time. Look forward to connecting with you again soon.